What if I told you there's a hidden code that connects something as abstract as the number pi, something as symbolic as a donkey, and the very fabric of reality itself? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull on that thread and see just how deep it goes, uncovering a fascinating framework that weaves together math, language, and philosophy in a way you might not expect.
So let's just jump right in with this central question. What if the universe isn't just a chaotic collection of separate facts and ideas? What if it's more like an intricate tapestry where everything, from mathematical constants to ancient symbols, is all part of one single elegant design?
All right, so to start, we're putting two things side by side that seem to have absolutely nothing in common. The mathematical constant pi, 3.14, etc., and the prophetic image of a donkey. It seems random, I know, but our goal here is to find that invisible thread that actually ties them together.
So let's start with our first key, the mathematical one, which, believe it or not, holds a pretty amazing secret hidden inside the number pi.
The foundation of this whole code really begins with the number 10. Now, in Kabbalistic thought, which is a form of Jewish mysticism, this number represents what are called the 10 Sephirot. Now, you can think of the Sephirot as these 10 fundamental attributes or channels through which the divine creates and interacts with the world. It's the basic structure.
Okay, so on top of that foundation of 10, we're going to add another core number, 22. This number corresponds to the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. And in this way of thinking, these aren't just letters, they're the actual building blocks, the tools used to form all of creation.
So, when we combine the 10 Sephirot and the 22 letters, we get 32. These are known as the 32 pathways of wisdom, kind of a complete blueprint for all of reality. But this is where it gets really interesting. What on earth does this have to do with pi?
And here's the connection, pointed out by an incredible 18th century scholar known as the Gaon of Vilna. He saw this amazing link in basic geometry. He said, hey, look at this. If you take a circle that has a diameter of 10, what's its circumference? Well, it's pi times 10, which is about 31.4, which rounds up to 32. So, in his mind, the very structure of creation was mirrored in the simple math of a circle.
This table really breaks it down so we can see it. Look how the 10 divine attributes, the Sephirot, are split into 3 that are intellectual and 7 that are emotive. Now check out the geometry. If you imagine a circle with a diameter of 7 for those 7 emotive attributes, its circumference is roughly 22, the number of the letters. And if you use all 10 Sephirot as the diameter, you get a circumference of about 32, the total pathways. It's this surprisingly neat and unified model.
Okay, now let's pivot. We're moving from the mathematical key to the physical one. And this means we're shifting from these abstract numbers to that very concrete and kind of strange symbolic image, a donkey.
Now, you've probably heard this ancient image before, and it's usually interpreted as a symbol of humility or peace. But within the framework we're exploring, it actually holds a much, much deeper meaning, one that has to do with physics and mastering the material world. And the linchpin, the critical clue, is found right in the Hebrew language itself. The word for donkey, which is chamor, shares the exact same 3-letter root as the word for matter or substance, which is homer. This isn't just a coincidence. This linguistic link is telling us that the symbol of the donkey is literally tied to the physical stuff of our universe.
And it gets deeper. In this kind of symbolic language, to ride something means way more than just sitting on it. It means you have complete understanding, you have total mastery over it. So to ride the donkey really means to have complete command over matter.
This leads to a really fascinating conclusion that's drawn from these source texts. To get to that level of mastery over matter, to truly ride the donkey, a person would need the kind of profound understanding that you'd expect from a great physicist.
And that physical understanding is said to be encoded in yet another key number, 248. This number is believed to hold the secret to the actual composition of matter itself. So here's how it all connects. Using a system called gematria, where Hebrew letters are each assigned a number, the word for matter, homer, adds up to exactly 248. This number is then said to correspond to a hypothetical 248 fundamental particles that make up all of creation. So, from this viewpoint, mastering the donkey isn't just a nice metaphor. It means truly understanding the fundamental building blocks of our reality.
Okay, we've gone from math to physics. Now let's pull the camera back even further and look at our third key, the philosophical one. This presents a really powerful principle about the limits and the potential of any system of human understanding.
This is a pretty radical statement from the 18th century mystic, the Baal Shem Tov. Now, he wasn't just trying to be difficult or argumentative. He was pointing to what he saw as a fundamental truth about reality. Every single theory, every worldview, no matter how complete it seems, has a hidden opening, a point of contradiction at its core.
And this loophole, it's not a flaw, it's not a bug in the system, it's a feature. It's an essential point of contradiction that actually serves as a portal, an opening. It's what allows for growth, for deeper discernment. You could say it's the space for becoming.
So this reveals a kind of repeatable process for growth. First, a theory is proposed, and it seems complete. But then, its hidden loophole is discovered. That discovery forces us to take apart the old theory, to transcend it, and then to arrive at a higher, more complete understanding. This is really the engine of both intellectual and personal growth.
So we've looked through the mathematical key, the physical key, and the philosophical key. Now let's bring them all together and really see the deeper unity that they've been pointing to all along.
And this final table is really the grand synthesis. On the left, we have 4 fundamental concepts from physics: time, space, energy, and matter. In this framework, each of these is seen to correspond to one of the 4 letters of the essential name of God in Hebrew: Yud, He, Vav, and He. And then each of those, in turn, is linked to a core mystical principle like wisdom or understanding. It's a map that connects the physical world we see to a much deeper, unified structure.
So what this all suggests is that pi, the donkey, and the nature of knowledge aren't just separate puzzles from different boxes. They're actually different facets of one single unified reality. And by developing our own capacity for discernment, we can begin to see and appreciate these hidden connections for ourselves.
And that really leaves us with a final question to reflect on. What are the accepted theories in our own lives? The tightly held beliefs about ourselves or the world that we think are complete. Where might they contain a hidden loophole? And could that opening be the very gateway we need to a more profound, a more true understanding of reality?